So this is just the standard lighting that I have in the law-abiding biker shop that we do all our projects in. And of course I want to do the fluorescent lighting. Just not real good lighting in here. It'll be better for working on stuff and for filming. Definitely better for filming. Briefly, these are the tools you're going to need. Diagonal cutters for the wire, a screwdriver, small flathead, and a really tiny flathead, if you can see that. Make sure it's real tiny. I'll show you what that's for in a bit. A regular hammer, you'll need that. This kit doesn't come with the mounting hardware if you're going to mount it to the ceiling. I have this stuff laying around in my shop. I tend to collect it over time. These are just some simple 6x 1 5/8 yellow zinc screws, wood screws, construction screws, and that'll be for putting mounting it to the ceiling. All right, so if you have some of that stuff laying around, if not, buy it. Helps to have a power drill with a Phillips on it. You don't have to have that. You can just hand turn it with a Phillips screwdriver for you if you'd like. And then I have this stuff laying around too. Don't necessarily need it. I'll show you a workaround, but it is helpful if you have a bolt, a washer, and a nut, and that will help hold the bottom plate to the ballast, and you'll see that in a little bit. But would be helpful to have those. You can tape it if you want, and then some duct tape would be helpful. Again, you don't need that. But those are the basic tools you're going to need, and parts. And again, the kit does not come with your mounting hardware. All right, so what we have here is a fluorescent lighting system that I'm going to put in the law-abiding biker garage here. The particular ones I bought are Lithonia lighting. All right, you can get these a lot of places. I purchased these from a electrical store that kind of sells direct here locally. You can get them at Home Depot and some other places too. Again, it's Lithonia brand. So mine didn't come with any instructions or anything. You know, they're just kind of direct and expect you know how to do it. Unfortunately, I do. So wanted to share that with you. All right. And these part number, again, Lithonia lights, and it's part number P001834B as in boy. I got 48-inch general purpose strip light. Again, Lithonia brand, but there's a lot of different brands. Just be careful. There's a lot of junk out there online and eBay and stuff. There's some good stuff too, but you know, 40 to 60. I spent 40 per ballast. I got 4 ballasts for my shop. Each ballast takes 2 bulbs, so I actually got, for 40 bucks, I got 2 bulbs and a ballast, the ballast, and then 2 bulbs with it. But again, it's not a kit. I had to buy those separate. Let's go ahead and break into this. See what we're looking at here. All right. And here's our ballast system, one of them. Again, I got 4 of these. Okay, here's our ballast system, and the way it comes is it's got a bottom plate on it. This just pops right off. It's just, this is how they package it. Of course, we are going to need this. Be careful, guys. These are very sharp, these metal edges. I know it seems funny, but as you can see, yeah, I already cut myself on one of these, so you can feel it. These are just, you know, it's cheap metal, and they're just made to do what they do. So they don't finish the edges off or anything like that. They will cut the crap out of you. I'll set this aside for a second, set our bulb up here. So we will need this plate. This will actually, of course, we're looking at it this way when we actually mount it to the ceiling. It's going to be this way, and this is going to be up, and as you can see, there you go. Look at that. Cut myself right while we're talking here, and that's what I'm talking about. You barely touch them. They are sharp. All right, we got a wound. But these will be actually up towards the ceiling, and this plate will actually go over this, and the bulbs will go on the outside. But we'll get to that. First of all, let's go ahead and take a look at what we're looking at here as far as the you know, initial wiring here. All right, so got another Band-Aid, but you know, you might even wear gloves, guys. I'm not kidding. These are sharp. I barely did anything, but I'm not going to put gloves on because I'm not very smart apparently. All right, so what we're looking at here is wiring. You've got 2 here, and you've got 2 blues, as you can see. These will go at one end, and these are actually, I'll show you a little closer here in a bit, but these are actually where your ballast plug into on one end. So both the blues will go at one end, so I'm going to go ahead and separate those, and you can see I'm kind of tied up here with this red and white wire. I'm going to try to separate. There we go. I'll get these blues down to one end. kind of organize things here. All right, so those will go down there. And then on this end, we've got, of course, the white and red. These two will go on one end, on the opposite end of the two blues. All right, so I'll kind of put those down there. And what we're left with is the actual hot, your black, and your common, your white. And this is actually where we will actually tie into our power supply for each one. You saw earlier, currently I just have bulb fixtures. We're going to take those off, obviously, took them off, and then we're going to tie directly into our house wiring with this right here, which is what is going to power this right here and thus power the lights. We'll get into this. There's a couple ways to do this. Either use this, which is nice, that comes with these particular lights, or we can snip these and just use wire nuts, but we'll get to that. So what else do we have in here? Hopefully your kit comes with this. The first one I got didn't even come with these, so you might be missing parts sometimes. They mass produce these things, and who knows where they're actually put together. But this little deal is plastic in here. It's a little clip, but these are little end plates. You've got two of them, so you can actually put end plates when you're done. After we get these together, you can actually slide these end plates in and make them look nice and neat. But again, my first set didn't even come with that. So, all right, so what we're looking at here is the end of the ballast. Like I say, we've got a white and red. One of these these two are going to go at one end. Obviously, they're connected. You couldn't do it any other way. All right, now I want you to look at this here and see what we're working with. It's actually got, on each side, it's got two little push tabs you can push in on that side and then that side. And you can see I can actually push those in, so one could grab both sides and push in, just so you know those are there. So those are going to snap into place, and if you ever wanted to back it off, we can push in. But I wanted to give you kind of a close-up so you can see what I'm talking about. All right. Now, these actually go up, and they're going to slide right into these little notches here. It's kind of set up in these, like I say, those tabs pop in. You can leave this plate on when you're doing it, and no problem, and slide them right in. You can put them under here and grab them out, and then we'll slide them in till they pop. I'm going to give you a little closer look, and so you can spread these cheeks right here, and then you can pop this top plate out, just like I did right there. All right. And the way we do these little tabs is up, of course. And let me see if I can get you guys a better shot. All right. And they're just going to slide right in forward. And try to get those tabs above this plate. You can kind of pull up on it. Wiggle it into place. And you heard the snap there. Everything. And I pull up on it a little bit, make sure those tabs are above, and now it's nice and secure in place. And we'll do the same with the other one. We'll go right like so. And again, make sure those tabs are on the top of this plate. You kind of have to manipulate it and move things around. And there you heard it snap. Pull up, wiggle it around. Now both those are solidly in place. And now I can take this, and again, you can do this in place just for video purposes I want to give you. And then these just slip into the side of the ballast here. Both sides. All right. And then those are back in place. All right, we're on the other end. Again, the two blues. And I'll do these a little quicker since you've seen how to do it. And this time I'll leave the plate on there. And I'm just going to snap these right into place. Kind of have to work them up and down, side to side. And see, my tabs aren't above it. Going to have to back it out. They're kind of a pain. You can push in a little bit on the tabs too. Might make it a little easier there to get it started. And then once you do that, then we can go ahead and snap it into place. And then we'll do the other one here too. Push in on those tabs a little bit. See if I can get it started. There we go. Now I can manipulate it back and forth, up and down. Now those are snapped into place. So both sides are ready. And again, now we've got this. This actually will tie right into our residential power at the outlet or the where the fixtures go. Real quick before we go to putting these on the ceiling, this is where, you know, we can hide all our wiring down in here. I'll show you that in a little bit. We'll use a little duct tape just to kind of keep it. This is where this plate comes in handy. And let me flip this around for you, just so you can see it here before we get started. All right, this plate can go one way. You see this end has two tabs. When we get it up there and we have everything secure, you can actually fit those two tabs in there. And then this actually goes around the outside and hides all the wiring. And then your bulbs will actually go along here. Let me spin this around for you. This end doesn't have tabs. This end has, and if we can get this, you kind of just got to push in on the cheek plates there. And if you see right here, we can get those tabs down there a little more. And see, this stuff is not, it's not highly built. It's pretty cheap, but it works. Once we get the plate all on there, this hole you see here, it actually lines up with there. And this is where that little extra, you know, bolt and nut, and see my wires, that's why I'm going to duct tape them. But I just wanted to give you guys a look at how that goes. And the bolt we can put in there, and that will secure this whole plate because the other side has tabs. But I wanted to show you that before we actually get up on the ceiling and start working. And as I mentioned earlier, this is the actual where we're going to tie into our residential power. I want to show you this clip real quick. It's nice, it comes with it. These could just be dead-headed, which I mean there's no clip at all, and then you could just strip them back and actually use wire nuts to twist on, like standard, you know, how you do electrical work. This comes with a nice little plug though, in case you wanted to run in tandem with another light. All right. The way you do this is there's a little push button here, and it says push, and if you push on that, it slides out. So when we get up in the ceiling and we're actually using this, so you got a white common, and then your black, your hot wire. So we're going to put black and black and white, and they just go in there and they snap in, and that's it. You'll feel them. They'll snap in and they won't come out. And again, you could do more than one, so you could you know, go in here. I'm not doing that, but so we're just going to use one white and one black. And then if you screw up or something and you want to take your wires out, if you turn this little plug over, you can take a small screwdriver and you can just push in on that, and that releases the pressure, and you can pull the wire out. So if you ever had to take them back off. So I wanted to show you that while we're down on the workbench. Now I'll just go ahead and, so we don't lose this, and snap it back in. Now we're going to go ahead and need to pop a plate out, and let me turn this around and show you, because when we put this up on the ceiling, I need my residential wiring to come into this ballast system so I can take this and actually tie into my power. So they come with these little plates here, and they've got 4 spot welds on them, and I'm going to go ahead and get a hammer and a little screwdriver. This one will work well, or another little one, and I'm going to hammer and pop all those little spot welds to take this little plate off. All right, and so we've got our little plate there. Like I say, it's got 4 spot welds. I'll just take my little screwdriver, give it a few bangs. There's one popped, and we'll go around and do all these. And you'll know when they pop, because, see, there you go. And the other 2 just popped for me. So it comes off pretty easy. Don't get frustrated with that. All right, and the last thing, one of the last things we can do while we're on the workbench, the more we can do down here and not up at the ceiling, the better, because we'll be holding that up there. But is go ahead and pop these end plates in if you like. And there's little channels in there that they go in. There's little tabs on here. So you can kind of see that will go in there and snap into place like so. You may have to work it a little bit. You can get in the side channels and work it with a screwdriver if it won't quite fit in there, but there, we can do that on both sides. All right, both end plates are in. The last thing I'm going to do here, again, much easier while you're here, I'm going to take this wires. This doesn't have to be pretty, it's going to be all covered up, but these wires are going to want to hang out when it's up at the ceiling, because this side's going to be down, and then trying to get this cover plate over is just a pain in the ass. So I'm just going to, I don't even care if this falls off. Once I get the plate on there, I don't care. So I got a couple pieces of duct tape. I'm just going to duct tape all this wiring down so that I don't have to deal with it when I'm up there. All right, and that should be good. And we'll leave these kind of here because this is going to tie into our power down here. So there we go. We're ready to go. Let's go up to the ceiling, huh? In our true style, we're coming at you with some more free content today. If you appreciate the free content, you want it to continue to keep coming your way, make sure and check out our Patreon page. There is a way you can help us to make sure that happens. There are some benefits over there. One of the benefits is free Law-Abiding Biker custom podcast t-shirt. We'll send it to you. Also over there, there's an exclusive private Facebook group that you'll become a member of. There are also other benefits over there. Make sure to check it out, lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon, Patreon. Of course, if you want to leave just a standard donation, we do appreciate that too. That's lawabidingbiker.com/donate. So I gotta ask, what are you waiting for, freaking bikeaholics? Grab your tools already. Let's wrench on some motorcycles, huh? All right, of course, the next thing we're gonna do is find our power box, because we're going to be working with electricity and we need to cut the breaker to my particular fixtures. And you are fully responsible for your safety when working with electricity, but I know which breaker it is. We're going to go dark, just about dark. I've got some extra lights on so that we don't go totally dark. And those are my regular fixtures. We're going to have to take that fixture off to accommodate the new fluorescent lights and ballast system. So let's get to that. All right, guys, briefly, as I say, working with electricity is at your own risk, man. So just be careful. This is just an easy little tester you can buy at Sears or anything. It's a voltage detector. Now I have power to my shop, and what you can do with these is they just take 2 AAA batteries, and then you'll see I touch an electrical cord, and it goes off and it lights up. I can stick it in this plug. It does the same. That lets me know that this is hot. So I know that my fixtures are out because my lights went out, but still when I go up there, to be double safe, I'm going to check the wires just to make sure that there's no possibility that there is power. You could always, hit your main breaker and shut off all the power in your house, but my family's home and I don't want to do that to them. So I'm going to use one of these little cheap little gadgets, voltage tester, detector instead. But that's nice because you can go around to any cord and just touch it and figure out if it's hot or not. And of course the exposed wires in my residence, I can figure that out. They're going to be exposed in a second. All right, and so with my power drill, there's 2 Phillips. I'm just going to go ahead and actually I'll get this bulb out of the way first. Make it a little easier. These are just regular cheap fixtures, and I'm just going to back this out. There's one on each side. This is where a power drill makes things a little bit easier. All right, both those are out. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pull this fixture down. And there's my black, which is hot, and my white, which is common. Here's where I'll take my little tester just to double check, because I want to live to ride my Harley Davidson another day. And we can just go ahead and touch, and you can see I'm touching bare wire right there. And there's no voltage in here at all. So I have successfully killed the power to this. Now I can work on it. Again, makes it pretty handy. These both these wires are just Phillips right to this fixture. Once I get that off, I can just go ahead and pull that plate off. And now we've got the 2 exposed wires coming, right from the fixture. And this is where we'll tie into the ballast. All right, and as you saw, all I did was brought the residential power wires, the black hot and the white common, down through that hole, that tab that we popped off. And then I just sunk one of those little zinc screws, those 6x1 5/8. Again, they don't come with the kit, but there's little holes all over this thing. I'm just gonna go through and start putting some more of these. You can really pick whatever hole you want, don't matter. Sink them like so. Make sure your light's straight. get down and look and make sure it's running, you know, straight with the garage and all that, with the ceiling. And then I'm just going to go along this and put, you know, 4 or 6 of them. You don't need anchors or anything like that because these are not heavy at all. So as long as you have 4 or 6 of them, you should be good to go. That will support the bulbs and everything. There we go, that's 6 of them. All right, and here's where our, you know, factory clip came from. That's pretty handy. And I'm gonna take these are the house wires here. And I'm just gonna use these dikes to kind of straighten them out, or these diagonal cutters here. This wire's pretty stiff, this residential stuff. And then I'm gonna snip these down so that there's just a little bit, so that when I stick them in this plug right here with the ballast, that there's no exposed wire. All right, and once those are stripped back to the right length, again, white, common, right and white, and you can see that pulled in. I'm pulling out, it's not gonna come out once it's in there. And remember I showed you earlier the little screwdriver trick, you can put it in that little notch there if you had to back it out. And then the black in the black. There we go. So that's all wired up, and then we can just kind of push this back up in here. And that's, now you can tell why I taped everything down so that it's not falling down on us. Now I can put the actual cover on here. All right, and remember this is one way, this plate, it does have tabs on there. And those tabs are actually going to go right up there where you see there's 2 little notches. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure those tabs are in there, and then once I do that I can start working this. You might have to squeeze in like I'm doing here to kind of get everything to fit. And this goes on the outside of the ballast. And make sure your tab stays in there. I just lost one there. Kind of give some pressure towards the end there. And then we'll just work this down to the other end once we get all this in. All right, and then of course our bulbs, there's 2 of them. The way these work is it's got two little studs on the end. Those are your power, you know, connectors you can see there. But they go right up here in this channel. And there's only one way, and they just kind of slip right in. And then I'm doing it on the other end here. You can't see that. And then once you get them both up in there, you just turn it clockwise, about a 1/4 turn, and it snaps right in. And we'll go ahead and grab another bulb and get that one in. All right, and again, 2 little power connectors there. They go right up here in that channel that goes straight up and down. We'll line them up this side. And I'm doing the back side here. Once they're up there 1/4 turn clockwise, and they snap right in. This ballast should power right up now. All right, and like I told you earlier, it might not hurt to have, if you have extra bolts or you can buy them, a nut and a washer laying around. You can see here I just popped off the end plate here that we popped on the workbench earlier. Comes right off. And there's a hole. The other side has tabs, remember. And then I can go ahead and thread this on real good. I'm not even going to get a wrench. Hand tight's fine. But that'll secure that whole bottom plate system on there for you. And then we can simply take our plate that I kind of pried off here, and secure it back on here. Pop that out. Just make sure you don't do that. All right. Pop our ballast deal back in there. And these also, you know, these end plates help keep all that together so you don't have that happen. So not a bad idea to put them on. All right. There we go. Everything's secured up. Should be ready to go. If you wanted to, you could, instead of a bolt, you could just put some tape on the side of these cheeks. You know, some duct tape just to make sure it didn't fall, but they're pretty secure on there. I recommend the bolt and nut method. This is the little clips that came with the kits. I was missing one out of my kit, but it does come with them, and I threw them aside on the workbench earlier. If you don't want to use a bolt to secure that bottom plate onto the ballast, you can use these little clips. They're fairly handy. So let me show you how that's done. So I'm just going to take it and you can put it right down. Kind of I got fat fingers, so it's kind of hard to get in here. We can go ahead and push it right on down through. Kind of got to squeeze these together a little bit to try to get them in there. They're kind of a pain, like I say, but anyways, and then it clicks on like that. And then if you ever need to get it off, you could just squeeze them and pop it back up through here, and that would release it, and then you could get this back off. So just another option if you don't like the bolt method, or if you don't have any extra bolts laying around. All right, time to kick the breaker back on. And we should have light. Let's check it out. Oh yeah, look at that. Much better lighting in here. And now I only have that to do 4 more times to replace all these bulbs. So I'm gonna get at that. All right, so everything's up. New fluorescent lighting in the law-abiding biker garage where we do all our filming. Of course, I have all my tons of filming lights too, but they're not in here right now, but just be better to work on things too. Definitely adds a lot to the garage. So there you go.